just before we get into the questions, I got you, well, I guess a couple of little gifts.
Oh, okay.
Which you can look at now or after.
Oh, you want me to look at it? And look at
mine.
Oh, is this? Oh, you got me. Oh, this is so nice. She got me a SpiderMan. It's like a Funko, like a little action figure. I love SpiderMan.
Yeah, I remember that.
I wore SpiderMan like this last night. Thank you. This is so sweet.
There's also
Miles Morales.
else in there.
Oh, there is. Oh, see, I got so excited for SpiderMan, I didn't even realize. Ooh.
There's a couple of badges from that.
Oh, is this your show? Is it called Her-Way?
I've got like a podcast now. I started with a magazine.
Oh, this is so cute. I'll put this.
Oh, I think there might be one more, but it's.
Oh, there's another one. Thank you.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, there is. Aw, these are so cute. Thank you.
No problem. Was hoping you'd like those,
I
especially
do.
this one.
Thank you. Thank you. That's so sweet. She really does know me. She really does pay attention.
Yeah, I saw some stuff on Instagram, and I think I even saw you in a suit once.
Yeah, I was wearing.
Oh, sorry. Okay,
Thank you. Oh, this is for me? Okay.
Are we good to go? Okay, so just first of all, first question. From the time that you were very young, it seemed like that you were always destined to be a very good tennis player, but I guess that doesn't always guarantee success. When you were starting out, who did you kind of look to for advice and mentoring?
I would say my parents, definitely. They were college athletes themselves, obviously not on a pro level, but you know, it's pretty much almost the same journey, same amount of work. So I would look to them for advice. And my idol growing up was Serena Williams, so I would just try to replicate whatever she did.
And I was about to ask you about that. It's kind of well known that the Williams sisters really inspire you. Mm-hmm. What is it about them that really inspire you?
I think just honestly the way they compete on the court. There's never a match where you can say like she's out of it, no matter the score, and obviously what they stand for off the court. Seeing somebody that looked like me playing tennis and this sport just really inspired me, and just the domination, the way Serena and Venus both dominated the game and changed the game, and I tried my best to model certain aspects of my game off of theirs.
And speaking of Venus, it's 2019, you're 15 years old and about to play your first ever Grand Slam match at Wimbledon, the biggest tournament in the world, against Venus Williams, who is one of your idols, who has won Wimbledon like 5 times. What was that whole lead up to that like, and just walking on to the court, like what was that like for you?
It was really crazy because first the fact that I even got a qualies wild card was a crazy thing. We found out last minute, and then the fact that I actually got through qualifying was another crazier thing, and then I pulled Venus Williams was even another crazier thing. And honestly, I didn't really realize I was about to play her. It all felt like a dream until when we were walking through the corridor and they showed pictures of past champions, and you see her name or her picture up there a couple times because she's won it a lot, and that's when I was like, wow, this is really about to happen. And the whole match, I never looked at the scoreboard because like I just didn't want my mind to know that I was playing Venus Williams. I just wanted my mind to know I was playing some unknown figure on the end of the court. And then I think really until the match point is when I realized like, oh my gosh, I just beat Venus Williams.
What was that moment like afterwards, walking up to the net and shaking hands with her?
Oh, it was like such like a thrill. Like I remember my hand was shaking. People were saying on how long I shook her hand. It didn't feel that long to me, but when I look back, yeah, it was pretty long. But I literally like grabbed her hand, and I was like, I knew before the match I was gonna tell her this. I just didn't think it would be on the winning end of it. But I'm glad that it happened, and that whole thing was just a shock. Like I'm not really one, I guess some people, I don't know, people plan their celebrations after winning a match, but I'm not one to do that, and that was just my authentic celebration.
And I think I read that your matches during that week were the most watched in the US out of anyone's. How did that change then, and how did you, I'm not sure if you knew this, and how do you think that you dealt with all of the sudden attention and just everyone knowing who you were?
It was definitely a big change. Yeah, I went from like a couple thousand followers on Instagram to like a lot. Celebrities tweeting at me, the former First Lady tweeting at me. It was crazy. It was a lot going on. But I think I handled it pretty good. Hadn't had any bad things happen yet, and I hope to keep it up with that like that.
Yeah. And that was all nearly 4 years ago, and you've probably learned a lot since then, both good and bad. What kind of advice do you like to share with some young players that you mentor nowadays?
I would say just enjoy being in the present. That's the biggest thing. Don't, obviously your future is important, but don't look too much into it where you can't enjoy the present. You never know when your time on earth can be finished, so I think you just have to enjoy every day and live it to your fullest. And also just don't let anyone limit your dreams. Can go as big as you want them to go, and if you can dream it, you can do it. So that's my biggest thing. You have parents that might tell you that you can't do it. You have coaches that might tell you can't. Teachers, don't let any of those people stop you. Only you know what your limits are, and sometimes you might not even know what your limits are. I think you're limitless, so just believe that.
Is being a role model and a mentor something that you enjoy when you're so young yourself?
I would say I don't really look at myself as a role model. I try my best to be a good person and be myself. I guess I never try to think of myself as a role model, but I guess in a way I am. But I think me just being authentically myself, the good and the bad and everything in between, I think is important for people to see you make mistakes and see how you improve from those mistakes. So I try my best not to make bad mistakes, but also when I do make a mistake, try to show how I learned from it and matured from it.
And I'm guessing that your teenage years have been pretty different to most teenagers. Is it important for you to make sure that you have some time away from tennis to do kind of other normal teenage things? And what kind of things do you like to do when you're away from tennis?
Yeah, I think it's very important. I think taking time away from your craft, even though it's something you love, I think taking time away from the people you love is important. And I think it's just like, you love your mom, you love your dad, but you don't want to be with them all the time. So I think it's the same way. I love tennis, but I don't want to be with tennis all the time. So usually I like to read. Couple of days we went mini golfing, bowling, anything that we can find to do for fun. I'm trying to learn how to either knit or play the ukulele this year. I haven't decided on what, but yeah.
And one of the things that I really admire about you is that you like to speak up for things that you really believe in. And I saw you make a speech on YouTube a couple of years ago, and you said no matter how big or small your platform is, you need to use your voice. And you were 16 when you said all of that. And it takes a lot of confidence for a 16-year-old to be kind of aware of all of that. Where does the confidence to speak up like that come from?
I think from my grandparents. My grandmother was a trailblazer in her community when she was around my age. She integrated her high school. So I think for me, that's where that, I guess, strength came from. And I really was speaking from the heart. Then I had I didn't know I was giving a speech, but they asked me last minute, like literally like 3 minutes before, so I had nothing written down. So I was just speaking from the heart. And I think when you speak from the heart, I hope you have a good heart, but if you have a good heart and you speak from the heart, usually the good things come out.
And being quite young, you must have had a really supportive team around you that makes you feel comfortable to stand up for what you believe in?
Yeah, my support system is great. They always support me in everything that I do, and I couldn't ask for a better support system. And I think that's also important when you surround yourself with people who support you. You'll also do good things.
And I'm sure that there have been a lot of them, but has there been one moment in your career so far that could be like, either off or on the court that you still just can't believe happened to you, like maybe meeting someone or receiving an award?
I think the biggest thing I couldn't believe happened to me, there's a couple. I would say meeting J. Cole. He's one of my favorite rappers, probably my favorite rapper. Meeting the former First Lady Michelle Obama, that was insane. And then like on the court, definitely the whole Wimbledon run. It's one of those things that I know happened in real life, but it feels like a dream. So yeah, I would say those are the top 3 things for me.
Wow. And your team has obviously helped you to get to where you are now. Your family, your fitness team, sponsors like New Balance, they're all important in their own ways. What role does a brand like New Balance play in making life easier for you to do what you do?
Really just allowing me to feel my best on the court. I'm the type of person, if you feel like you look good, then you'll play good. So New Balance does a great job of making me feel good on the court, making me feel like I'm the best dressed player. And obviously with the shoes, people love the new CG1s, and it credit to the incredible footwear team that they have that allow me to kind of be creative and just be myself and authentically myself. And I really think that New Balance has become a family to me, and I'm happy that I was able to start with a brand like them at such a young age, and hopefully even in my older stages in the career, but I have a long way for that.
Yeah. And just quickly, I know that you absolutely love SpiderMan. Where did the passion for SpiderMan all come from?
I just love superheroes. I love the idea of the impossible being possible. I mean, we don't have really like superheroes like with powers and everything in real life, but we definitely have some real life superheroes with their own type of powers. So I think I think comics are almost a reflection of the world in a very I guess, very figurative way. And Spider-Man himself, he's a teenager, he does big things. I'm a teenager who's trying to do big things, and I just feel like I can relate to him a lot.
And 2022 was a pretty huge year for you. You graduated high school, you made your first ever Grand Slam final, which was the youngest in 18 years for someone to do it, and you were the second youngest ever to reach the #1 doubles title position. How do you look back on last year?
It was a really good year. I mean, when you experience those down parts of losing a Grand Slam final and losing those tough matches, it makes you feel like you didn't do good. But I guess if you look at it overall of it, it was definitely an amazing year for me, the best year of my career so far. And I think that's kind of what I want. I want every year to be the best year of my career so far. And like that's what I love to see. And I mean, that year I learned a lot. It had a lot of ups, had a lot of downs, but I think I've learned from both the ups and downs, and I think that's the most important thing. You can't win everything, but you can learn from everything.
How do you use that all as motivation for this year?
I think just constantly doing better. I think when you get so close to something, especially in that Grand Slam final, when you get so close, it makes you want to do it even more, and you know that you're capable of doing it. So it's all about putting in the work and just trusting in yourself, trusting in your game, trusting in your team, and hope that good things can happen.
And just lastly, you're only really just getting started in your career, and you probably have so much that you want to achieve. What kind of athlete and person would you like people to see you as?
I guess as an athlete, somebody who is fun to watch, somebody who can help dominate the game, and somebody who's successful in the game. But as a person, I guess this is the most important thing. I'd rather be known as a great person than a great athlete. If I could be known as both, that would be pretty cool. I just think for me, I hope that I made a difference in this world. When everything, when I'm gone, hopefully it's not a long time from now, not to be so sad. When I'm gone, I hope people say like, man, she really was a great person.
Thanks so much, Coco,
Thank
for
you.
this interview today.
Thank
You're definitely
you.
already inspiring everyone. And
Thank you.
yeah,
You're a
thanks for your time.
great reporter. You have a
Thank
bright
you.
future. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for listening. To support Her Way, visit the link in the description section.